Hi, welcome to Birthing at Home, a podcast. I'm Elsie, your host. I'm a home birth mum of 2 little boys. I'm a mental health nurse, a home birth advocate broadly, but also more specifically in the state of Victoria, and I'm an ex-student midwife. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people who are the traditional custodians of the land I'm recording on in Melbourne, Australia. I would also like to acknowledge that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have been birthing at home on country for tens of thousands of years prior to the British invasion, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. This is episode 18 of Birthing at Home, a podcast, and today Jess from North Richmond in New South Wales shares her amazing home birth after caesarean story that she achieved whilst sick with COVID-19 and after having had a traumatic first birth experience. We also reflect on hers and Jacob's post-birth transfer to hospital, where the hospital unreasonably then denied her from holding or seeing Jacob in person for 3 days. This is a pretty emotional episode that highlights many issues with the maternity system, including the stigma around home birth and the lack of support for breastfeeding mums, including those with babies in NICU or special care. Enjoy! Welcome, Jess, to the Birthing at Home, a podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We were just discussing that we're both boy mums and exchanging some funny stories. I have Frankie in the background and Jess has little Jacob in the background as well. But we're going to start off, Jess, if you would like to give a little overview of who you are, where you live, who's in your family, etc.
Yeah, so I'm Jess, boy mum to Ollie, who is almost 3, and Jacob, who's 8 months old today. Married to my husband, Rowan. We live in North Richmond, which is in the Hawkesbury region of New South Wales. It's about an hour and a bit out of Sydney.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 little fur babies as well, Duke and Baxter, who hopefully remain very quiet.
For this, that's okay. That is the nature of parenthood.
Yeah.
And so you're going to share today a home birth after caesarean story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess let's start with the caesarean with Ollie. I guess, yeah, you can give like an overview of like your pregnancy with Ollie and how it all led up to that.
Yeah, so he was kind of a COVID baby. He was born early 2021. So after the first wave, well, we sort of had the first wave, went into lockdown while I was pregnant, which was amazing. I actually have no idea how women go to work while pregnant.
Yeah.
The pregnancy was all pretty smooth sailing. He was planned and we were very excited to have him. I chose an interesting model of care, which was sort of touted out here as like the premium economy of pregnancy care. So we went private, but it was mixed care between midwives and a rotating roster of obstetricians.
Okay.
They really marketed it as, crazily enough, getting continuity of care because you had midwives. And I thought, that sounds really good to me. Like, I feel like I really would more appreciate the midwives than the obstetricians. So we went for that, and it was cheaper than going private.
Yeah.
When we booked in, though, I had no idea that the midwives actually wouldn't be there for the birth. And basically it was just whatever obstetrician was on call would come.
What's the point?
So yeah, exactly. It was literally just like, it was just public care, but in a private hospital.
Oh my gosh.
So it was all fine. We did calm birth, which was really good. And I just remember like one of the first questions that they asked when we got to the course was to write down your fears around birth. Mm-hmm. And I remember just looking at Rowan and being like, I don't have any. Like I felt so confident in my ability to birth that I was just like, none. Like I was actually felt a bit sick that I was excited to give birth. And I was like, yeah. Being like, really cool.
Yeah.
You're crazy. But yeah, that was like my mentality. Probably in hindsight, you know, the hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Probably didn't research enough just because I just felt really confident.
Yeah. Did you know much about birth or like even pregnancy before you were actually pregnant?
So I'm one of 4 kids,
Yeah.
and my mum had 4 natural births. I don't know if that's what gave me, that was my story, well, half of my history, I suppose, around birth.
Yeah.
I had a few friends who had given birth before me, and one of my sisters also she's got 3 kids. All of them had caesareans.
Yeah, wow.
Never really thought about that at the time, but
Yeah.
and probably never really questioned it because I just didn't think it would be me, because I was like, yeah, like mum had 4, she had 4 babies, they were all good, and yeah, I just didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
But the whole way through my pregnancy, almost from the dating scan, very much from the 12-week scan, I was told that Ollie was a big baby. He was always measuring ahead.
Okay.
Always questioning my dates, and I was like, no, like I tracked everything. I'm a really bit of an OCD person. And I was like, no, I know my due date is right.
Yeah.
Even up to my 36-week appointment with the obstetrician, they did the scan. He was like, look, you're measuring really ahead. We should start thinking about induction or maybe scheduling a caesarean. And I was like, no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But I had that in the back of my head, obviously, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it was a pretty smooth pregnancy.
So the main reason they thought Ollie would be big was from the scans, or?
Just from the scans, yeah. I mean, my husband was a 10-pounder when he was born. I don't know if that, I mean, we're both quite tall. But yeah, the main reason was all the scans.
Yeah, and did that kind of influence if you did the gestational diabetes testing as well?
I did
those kind of comments.
Testing. Yeah, I did all the testing the first time around. Again, I didn't really know that it was an option. It was more just like, this is what you do now.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that you could say no to things.
Yeah.
And just so I did the gestational diabetes test. It was like I was fine. But again, after the fact, after he was born, and he was a big baby.
Yeah.
You probably had undiagnosed gestational diabetes, is what I was thinking. Yeah.
So you did the test. The test was negative.
Yep. It was fine.
And then after you had a big baby, they were like, "Oh, you even what the heck? Oh my god, that's horrible."
Yeah. So.
So were you induced then?
No.
Okay.
It came up at that 36-week appointment, and then, crazily enough, I don't remember it being mentioned again, which is probably I don't know what I would have done if they tried to bring it up again, but they didn't. I went into labour at 39 and 6 days.
Yep.
Which, my waters broke in the middle of the night.
Yep.
And so, we did, long story short, went into hospital for monitoring. Everything was fine. My contractions hadn't started yet, but basically was told if you're not in labour, or even if you are, you need to be back here by 8 o'clock tonight to start the antibiotics.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure. And it was fine, and they were like, look, what do you want to do? And I said, I really want to go home. And it's the language that you reflect on now, after obviously knowing more, is like crazy. I remember them saying, we'll just call and ask the doctor if that's okay. And then came back and they're like, he's happy for you to go home. And I was like, okay, great. Like, thank you for letting me, as an adult woman, leave.
Yeah, as an independent human, take myself to my house.
Crazy, yeah. So we went home. It was about a half an hour drive to the private hospital. So we went home, and basically by the time we got home, it was about, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning. About half an hour later, my contractions started.
Yeah.
So we were back in the hospital by midday. The contractions were kind of all over the place. They weren't really, like, some of them would come really close and then it would taper off a bit. But I think we were both a bit stressed that we wouldn't make it to the hospital in time.
Okay.
So we headed back in,
Yeah.
and it was like,
Had you ever heard of home birth? Or I know, like, in the media you see like stuff of like women not making, like, in inverted commas, like not making it to the hospital, birthing in the car and stuff. But like in terms of planned home births, had you ever heard of that before?
no, it was not even on my radar as an option.
Yeah.
No, had
Yeah.
no idea. Absolutely no idea. It was more like, oh my gosh, we don't imagine if we had this baby at home, like we better go to the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And so you went to the hospital, and like,
we went in.
What was that car ride like?
Oh, awful. It was awful. My waters had broken in at 2 a.m. and they just continuously gushed.
Yeah.
I just remember, it felt so disgusting to me. Like every contraction, it was like waters, constantly changing pads. I was sitting on towels. The walk up to the birthing unit was like, really uncomfortable. We got there, it must have been around midday. So packed car park.
Yeah.
Waddling to the lift. I was having to stop and like hunch over cars for contractions.
Oh my god!
And just a trail of waters just following.
Yeah, leaking water. You're welcome.
Having one contraction in the hallway on the way to birth suite, and the water just going all over the carpet.
Oh,
and just rubbing it with my shoe. Like as if I'd spilled some water at home on the rug, and I was just like, hear of this later.
Yeah.
Why do they carpet these hallways? It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. And so that's why, hospitals are actually pretty gross places.
Terrible, so gross. So, but and like the first midwife that we had was she was really good. She basically just left us to our own devices. Of course, because my waters had broken, I had to have CTG monitoring. Which laughed about a bit putting that on.
Yeah.
I very much wanted to be in the shower the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was so uncomfortable there because you couldn't, the lights and the exhaust fans were connected. You couldn't have the exhaust fan on without the light being on, and I didn't want the lights on. So it was just so hot and steamy.
Yeah, that's such a like thing that I think people don't consider when they go to give birth in a hospital, is that you are not in charge of the air conditioning. Sometimes if you're lucky you might have a bit of control over some part of the lighting, but the noises, like, I mean, they're not going to go get the tradesman to come and disconnect the light and the exhaust for you, are they? Yeah. How annoying.
Yeah, the things that you just don't think of.
No.
So it was like, I liked the heat, but I was just getting so hot, which is crazy, but like just so, flustered in there.
Yeah.
And then it got to about 8 o'clock, which was the time I had to have the antibiotics start. Yeah. It was also shift change at the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
So I left this beautiful midwife who, she was great. She was encouraging me to get up and move. When I was too hot in the shower, she got me a gym ball to sit on, she was doing all the things. She was really good.
Yeah.
Shift changed. The new midwife came in and was like, okay, Jess, it's time to start the antibiotics. We might as well put the syntocinon in as well because the cannula's going in. So it was sort of like, we might as well just put it in. That was literally how it was presented to me. And I think I don't remember what I responded, but I probably was just like, okay, yeah, sure. Like,
yeah, but how do you know? I mean, like if you're there, I've heard stories as well where like for vaginal examinations and a woman's waters haven't broken and they're like, oh, whilst we're there, we'll just give you a stretch and sweep, or we'll just do this. So like as if you're, oh gosh, okay. So they started Synto as well at the same time?
Yeah, so they started the Synto, which obviously ramped things up. I feel like I was managing labour pretty well up until that point. But obviously then it really ramped up. I was really tired. I think in my mind I just had the whole like, don't lie down. What I took away from calm birth was like, stay active, but I really didn't allow myself to rest at all. Yeah. Like, because my waters had broken, I went home and I was like, right, I'm on the clock already. I've got until 8 o'clock to start until I get induced. So I was bouncing, I was like walking, and that I think was a big hindrance because I was obviously tired. I was very
exhausted. Yeah.
So one VE that they did, I remember the midwife saying, "Oh, you're fully dilated, but you've got a cervical lip."
Yeah.
He said, I just need to just push it aside, but you're fully dilated, so you can start pushing." So I started pushing while she was inside me, trying to flick my cervix over around his head. Because it was like, TikTok, it's time to get this baby out. You're 10 centimeters and it's time to go.
Yeah.
And like my body actually holds a lot of trauma around just that feeling of being like violated, I suppose.
Yeah.
I can't even explain, but like, having someone inside you while you're trying to push out a baby.
Yeah.
Was just crazy.
I just I cannot and to go from having this midwife that has kind of left you to your own devices in a way to then come and have this midwife, it really is just luck of the draw. And I can't believe that this whole program basically was Frankie's blowing lots of bubbles over there. I can't believe the whole program basically misused this, very researched idea of continuity of care with midwives, and then didn't even provide midwifery continuity of care.
No, you had it.
That's mind-boggling.
When you actually need it. It was really disruptive.
That's the whole point. Yeah. That's the whole point. I'm just going to grab Frankie. Just hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's horrible. And so Rowan at the time, how much did he know about birth and pregnancy and whatnot?
Probably not a lot. We did the calm birth together. He held fears around birth.
Okay.
He was a caesarean baby himself.
Yeah.
We're not sure if it's because he himself was big, or actually no, I think his older brother was a caesarean. He was breech, and so he, as the subsequent pregnancy, was just a caesarean because they had to.
That's what it was like. Yeah.
So his knowledge basically was calm birth. I think the calm birth course did a lot to. He learned a lot from it, and he was, as a birth partner, he was really good. He knew all the things to try and encourage me to do, but he, I think, had a bit of fear in the space.
Yeah. And so the midwife is trying to manually rearrange your body in a very unnatural way, and then how did it go from there?
I pushed for 2 hours, and I just remember thinking, the way that they would talk. So by this stage, I was tired. I was on my back. I was in stirrups. I pushed for 2 hours. Yeah. And I remember at one stage, it's funny the little things that really stand out to you about what you remember. I remember Rowan saying to her, she needs to get up. I always thought in my head, I pictured myself birthing upright. Yeah. Because I'm a soccer player and I've got pretty strong legs. I was like, that's the strongest part of my body. I sort of thought, I'm going to put this baby out or whatever. Yeah. And he knew that I shouldn't be on my back. So, I remember him saying to the midwife, she needs to get up. This isn't working. And she said to him, she can't. And in my mind, I just remember, I feel like screaming, I can, you just need to help me. Yeah. But by this stage, you're so in your head, I couldn't verbalize anything, and it was just I don't know, it was obviously just
quite defeating, really.
Yes, yeah, that's a good word for it.
And I guess
moment.
Yeah, and I guess if you've been primed this entire pregnancy, basically saying, your baby's going to be big, you're not going to be able to do it, then when you get to the actual thing, like try at some point there must be a time in your head where you think, well, mate, like it's not actually working. You know, I've been pushing for 2 hours. They're saying I can't do this.
Yeah, maybe this baby is too big.
Maybe this baby is too big. Yeah.
Yeah. The doubts definitely, they start to creep in.
Yeah. And so you push for 2 hours, and
I
is
pushed
that
for 2 hours? At that stage, it was okay. The obstetrician's called in. It was about 2 a.m. by this point, I think.
Yeah.
The obstetrician, I don't even know who came in, and because they were talking to Rowan, of course, not to me.
Yeah.
Someone came in and basically said, look, we need to get the baby out. There was no fetal distress. He was fine. We need to get the baby out. We can either try forceps or go for a caesarean. They were the two options. And he, bless his heart, said, what are the risks with both? Like he'd really on the brain.
Nice one. Good job, Rowan. Yeah.
And they said, this is all they said to him was the risks, the forceps is a higher risk for the baby, and the caesarean is a higher risk for the mum. That's it. That's all. That's the risks that they gave him.
That's how they summarised. Oh my God.
And then I could just feel him obviously hesitate. He's basically just been presented with making a decision of his wife or his child, basically.
Yeah.
And I very much did not want forceps. I'd seen a women's health physio throughout my pregnancy. My mum has got prolapse, not surprisingly, after 4 children.
Yeah.
And I was probably more scared of the forceps than the caesarean, to be honest. And they also said if it's a forceps delivery, we still need to go down to theatre because of the time of night, just in case, and we have to do a caesarean. So I piped up at this stage and I said, just do the caesarean. Just get this baby out of me, pretty much.
Yeah. Wow. And so
we were wheeled down. Another funny story about the trip down to theatre. I was getting sick from the Synto. Before we left, Rowan actually said to them, can you turn that off now? He had to ask them, turn the Synto off, because he could see how uncomfortable it was making me.
Yeah.
On the way down.
There's no need for it.
Yeah, that's it. Right?
Oh my God.
On the way down, whoever's pushing the bed's pushing the bed. The obstetrician's walking beside me. The midwife's got all the paper. Rowan was carrying something. I don't know what he had his hands full with, but the obstetrician was the only one with hands free. I said to them, just outside theatre, I'm going to throw up. Yeah. And the obstetrician handed me a vomit bag, which was still like squished up together. Like, you know how they come and they're like flat? And you have to pull them out?
You can't see me, but I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That bag, and it went all over me. Of course, it just backfired. So then they had to change me completely to go into theatre. And everyone was just like, oh my God, mate, like, you've got one job, pass her the vomit bag, open it up before you give it to her. It's crazy.
Oh, like that actually does not, because I'm a nurse, and that just does not surprise me, actually. It's just like they say, you know, if you want injections like vaccines or whatever, needles, that you should always try and get it from a nurse, because a nurse is going to have given more injections and done more actual stuff before than a doctor, because a doctor is often just the one calling the shots.
Yeah.
Not actually physically doing it. But anyway, that doesn't surprise me. How horrible. So
I'm covered in vomit and I'm going for a caesarean.
Yeah. What a great memory.
Beautiful time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So they've changed you, and they've
changed me. Yeah. Wheeled me in. Had to get the spinal because I hadn't had an epidural or anything. So
oh my God.
Rowan was waiting.
Bye, Rowan.
I did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, a couple minutes later, Ollie was born. He was born at about 3:15.
Yeah.
I just, remember, like, they just pulled him up over the top of the curtain, and then he was taken away for a bit. They do the weighing and everything, which just...
They weighed him before you got to hold him.
So I was watching. I could see, like, I turned my head to the side. I could see them doing everything, like, over on the table, cut his cord, everything, and then they brought him over to me. And it's just,
Oh my
like a bit of an
God.
out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Which is like, thankfully, one of the midwives, or the crappy midwife, she
Yeah.
said to Rowan, like, bring a phone. So she took heaps of photos, which
Yeah.
is good. But yeah, crazy.
Oh my gosh. Like, oh man, that's a whole other podcast. I could go on so many tangents. Anyway,
Yeah,
we're here for the context. Okay. And
taken to
and so
recovery.
yeah, how much did Ollie weigh then?
He was 4.3 kilos.
Yeah. Okay.
So not huge, but
Yeah. Yeah.
big, I suppose.
Yeah.
Decent. Like, I just remember when he was born, I was like, wow, you're actually robust. I felt like I never really had to support his neck. Like, he didn't feel like a newborn to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he was fine. The obstetrician made a comment and basically said, like, I wouldn't have been able to get him with forceps. What that means, I have no idea. I don't know if he wasn't, like, he wasn't tied down at all. I have no idea what he meant by that comment, but
yeah.
I was
what
like,
a weird.
Cool. I made the right decision there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
And then I made it back up to the maternity ward before Rowan and Ollie were basically in a room somewhere, and had with no idea where I was, and I was basically just sitting in this room like, well, where are they?
Yeah.
Because I had no way to contact them.
Yeah.
And eventually, had the midwife go, oh, we better take you up to Jess. And I just remember Rowan saying, like, oh my gosh, like, how long has she been up there? Like, just sitting there on my own, just mulling over, like, oh, I wonder what my baby looks like. Or,
oh my God, this is an outrageous story. I'm so glad you found Homebirth, because
can you see why I went down there?
What the heck? It sounds like some weird TV show, like I remember this story from my uncle once, that he got acupuncture and they like forgot about him. And so he was just like laying in the room with all these like needles in him, like wondering, and he couldn't move. He couldn't like contact anyone, and they'd like forgotten about him. So it was just, and I just remember thinking, what the heck? But that's pretty much exactly what has happened to you.
Oh, we forgot to tell you she's up in the room.
It's oh my gosh. What was your like recovery like with Ollie and postpartum period?
Actually really surprised me. I felt okay. Obviously they try to get you up, like I think it was lunchtime that day. So he ended up being born at 40 weeks on the dot, and I was like, thank you for being prompt, baby. Being on time, that's really great. By like lunchtime they were like, right, up, shower, we moved rooms, like. And it was fun. My milk came in pretty quickly despite the cesarean. Obviously, I had, like, all the labour had started and all of that as well, which helped. Yeah. Probably won't surprise you, but I had massive postpartum anxiety.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep. I mean, I'm not sure what else you would expect if you're leaving a woman in a room by herself, having not met her baby. But anyway.
It probably. I spent a lot of time in the months following, I think, masking how I felt about it.
Yeah.
And as crazy as this sounds, I felt like I didn't want to be disappointed about the cesarean, because most of my friends and family had also had cesareans, and I didn't want them to think that I was judging them about the way that they birthed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I felt bad about, like, I was very disappointed that I didn't get the birth the way that I envisaged.
Yeah.
I felt very much like my body had let me down, and when I had any issues like breastfeeding, I remember screaming at Rowan one time when I was trying to feed him, and just going like, it's just another thing that my body can't do. And that was very much like what was going around in my mind. But honestly,
that's heartbreaking.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's a cesarean. Like, I'm fine. I'm up and walking down to the cafe at 2 weeks postpartum, because that's crazy. And I was like, I'm fine. Healthy baby, healthy mum. Yada, yada.
Yeah. Grateful to be alive, grateful to live in Australia where we have this awesome medical system.
That's right. Yeah. Where we need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and then obviously we had lockdown as well, which
of course.
So he was born in February. I think it was around the May, June. We went into pretty hard lockdown up here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just isolated, had no help from anyone,
Yeah.
which probably
Wow.
contributed as well. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
goodness knows what would happen without that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
around that 6-month mark, I don't know how I stumbled across her on Instagram or what path led me to her, but I found Cora for Restore.
Oh, yeah.
And I booked in a birth debrief with her.
Yeah. Amazing.
Completely unraveled me.
Yeah.
And
Is that how you learnt about home birth then?
yes, I remember just obsessing, like at my 6-week checkup, which was with the midwife, not the obstetrician.
Yeah.
It was with just the midwife in the program, so the one that wasn't, she wasn't in the birth at all. I remember saying to her, if I have another baby, can I have a VBAC? That was the only question I had for that whole appointment. So I was obviously obsessing about it then.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, most of the doctors here support it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. That was sort of where I left it. And in the debrief, I remember we were talking about it, and she said to me, have you heard of the, oh my gosh, what's that? What's the movie?
Birth time? Birth time? Yeah.
She was like, have you heard of Birth Time? And I said, no. She said, well, what I suggest is you and Rowan just watch it. Because your best chances of having a VBAC will be to have it at home.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, no, you're crazy. You're like, that's not crazy, but it was still such a foreign thing to me. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, we watched it. At the end of it, I was like, yeah, if we have another kid, it's going to be born at home, like 100%. There was
wow.
One was like, yeah, like his eyes were very much opened. His stepsister, not too long after Ollie was born, she had her third baby at home as well.
Oh, okay.
So it was.
So that has like kind of warmed you up to the idea, I guess, in a way as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like, it's like a possibility. She had it because her first 2 labours were pretty quick, and she lived up near Newcastle, and she's an hour drive from the hospital. And I remember saying, like, the hospital up there do the publicly funded home birth.
Yeah.
And she basically called them. I think she was just outside the area for her second baby, and she was like, look, if you don't let me in this program, like the baby's going to be born at home anyway. There's like no chance I'll make it to hospital. So that, was obviously a bit of an introduction to us. I'm like, you can have a baby at home.
Yeah.
And actually,
that's amazing. And then
and you know, I started following Cora for Restore, which obviously leads to other accounts, and just,
the algorithm
started working in my favor, and I was like, why could I have not found you like before I was pregnant?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, it definitely was on the radar, and I was like, I said to Rowan, if we have another baby, that's it. It's going to be born at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so you find out that you're pregnant with Jacob, and what kind of options do you have where you live for home birth? Like, did you just use a private midwife, or is there any like group practice around, or?
There's MGP at my local hospital, which would have been my local. They wouldn't have supported a VBAC.
Oh, of course.
There's a home birth program, I think, also locally, but I'd be out of the area. And again, they wouldn't support a VBAC at home.
Yeah.
So my options were go try and find someone, probably private.
Yeah.
Or go public. Like, I could have, the GP would have supported a VBAC, but not at home.
Yeah.
The public home birth program wouldn't have supported it. So as soon as I had a miscarriage in between the 2 boys.
Okay, yeah.
When I found out I was pregnant with that pregnancy, before, like, I literally peed on the stick, and I went on the Home Birth New South Wales website, and I called midwife on the list, and I was like, I know how competitive it is.
Yeah.
Called them, and I was like, I must have spoken to 3 or 4, booked out.
Yeah.
And finally found one that was like, we'll support you. Like, we're local. We have availability on your due date. And I was like, oh my God, I should ring and tell Rowan that I'm pregnant.
Oh, so you hadn't even told him.
I feel actually so bad that I'm talking to other people about me being pregnant and my husband doesn't know. It felt really strange.
Priorities though.
It's already too late.
Yeah. There's nothing he can do about it now. Yeah.
So we ended up losing that one at about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then fell pregnant again first cycle after that.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was like, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. So I basically messaged these midwives and I was like, I'm pregnant again. It's just due a month later. Are you still available?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, they were great. She was like, yep, come in for a booking appointment, make sure that we're the right fit and whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
She mentioned to me on the phone, she was like, you'll need a GP referral eventually. You don't need it straight away, but to get your Medicare rebate.
Of course, yeah.
Eventually. And basically just said, like, yeah, if you want to do a dating scan, we're nuts. If you don't want to, don't.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think it was probably around maybe 10 weeks. I definitely saw her before the 12 weeks. Anyway, that I was going to go and meet her.
Yeah.
And have the booking in appointment. So I decided I wanted to do a dating scan, particularly because of the miscarriage. I was this is another story that's going to completely blow your mind. I was obviously very paranoid about losing the baby again.
Yeah.
So I went in to get the bloods tested. I just went to the local medical centre. I didn't have a great GP. Yeah. Because I'd finished up work. I had a good one in the CBD that I was seeing because I'd just go and see her like when I was working. I'd go on my lunch break, but I wasn't going to commute with a baby at this time. CBD. So I just went to the local medical centre and said to them, like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I just want the bloods and a referral for a dating scan. And also I would like a referral for my private midwife. Yeah. Which starts the conversation of, okay, where are you going to give birth? How was your last pregnancy? And so I got the bloods done. And she forgot to test the HCG levels.
What? But that's the oh my God.
So I must have been like 6 weeks pregnant, maybe five weeks. Pretty early on. I went back to get my results and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry they haven't tested. I'm literally peeing on a stick every day because I'm that paranoid about having another miscarriage. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then she says, but you do have gestational diabetes.
What?
At 5 weeks pregnant.
What? So this is the GP that says this?
This is the GP. She must have tested my glucose levels. Maybe. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And yeah, so she said to me, okay, how was your last pregnancy? Did you have gestational diabetes? No. How big was your baby? 4.3 kilos. Okay, you probably had it and you've probably got it now. And where am I writing this referral to? I said, private midwife. Where are you going to birth the baby? I'm going to birth the baby at home. Oh, I wouldn't recommend that for you. No, not after a caesarean. No.
What?
I'll be writing a referral to the local hospital. I said, well, I won't be taking that referral. Can we just retest my bloods? Obviously, I want the HCG levels.
Yeah, can you do what I've asked you to do?
Can you just give me what I've asked you to do? So I went and did the other blood test. Came back, obviously, yeah, you're pregnant. I'm like, yeah, thank you, I know. Can I get those referrals now and be done with you? Yeah. And she was like, look, I think what we should do is at about 8 weeks if you do the fasting glucose tolerance test. Just to make sure that you don't, like just to test that you've got, or to confirm, basically, she's saying that you've got gestational diabetes. And then I'll give you the referral. She's basically like, she's bribing me to get this referral.
None of this makes sense.
It doesn't, does it? Yeah.
What so heck?
In the back of my mind, I'm like, I just want this referral so I can literally never see you again. Like,
yeah.
And then she says, I'd also like to book you in with the diabetes specialist at the medical.
Oh, my God.
She can talk to you about diet. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll book the appointment. I'll come. Like, yep, it's fine. And then I'll get my referral. Okay, cool. So I go. I do the GTT at 8 weeks. And then I think it was maybe the following week I had this appointment with the diabetes special. I still haven't got the results back for the GTT. I had this appointment with the diabetes specialist.
So did they make you do like the glucose drinks and everything, the 3 blood tests and everything?
Yep.
So at how many weeks are you?
I was 8 weeks.
At 8 weeks, they get you to do...
It was terrible. Yeah.
That is outrageous. That is not...
The nurse at the pathology was like, "Are you pregnant?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm 8 weeks." And she was like, "Why are you doing this?" Everyone was questioning it. They were like, "Why are you doing this?" And she did the finger prick for me there, the finger prick thing. And she was like, "You don't have diabetes." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I just want to confirm it." It was like, it was terrible doing that fasting test while like your first trimester of pregnancy was...
Oh my God.
I don't remember it being that bad from the first time around. Like, I didn't mind it. I was like, I'm one of those weirdos that actually likes the taste of this drink and whatever. I just sit here for 2 hours and it's fine.
I cannot believe, like... I mean, on some level I can believe that happened, but I just, like, that's just not evidence-based. That's just like she didn't know what she was doing and she's just, like...
She's just trying to cover her back or... Yeah.
Made up some random... That's just mind-boggling. I'm sure people that listen to this will also be flabbergasted.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah. So I went to this appointment with the diabetes specialist who was going to give me my results for the GTT in that appointment.
Oh my God. In your first trimester.
In my first trimester. I'm working from home. I nip up to the medical centre to have this appointment in my lunch break. Yeah. They're running late. I sit down. They've accidentally booked me in with a dietitian, not with a diabetes specialist at this medical centre.
Oh my God.
So I was like, I'm so pissed off by this test. I'm like, what the heck is happening? And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me take you to the front counter. I'll book you an appointment with the diabetes. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm going. I'll book it online. Yeah. On my way home, I made a telehealth appointment with just any doctor at the medical centre for that afternoon. And when they called me, I said, I just want my GTT, my test results. He said, yep, you don't have diabetes. It's fine. It's all clear. And I was like, great. Thank you. Obviously didn't rebook.
Yeah.
With the diabetes. I didn't need. I then booked an appointment. I'd seen one of the registrars up there. He was just like walk-in only. I'd seen him a couple of times with Ollie and he'd been really good. He was very young.
Yep.
I'm going to book an appointment with him. I literally sat down. I said, I just need a referral for a private midwife.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep, here you go. Literally was like, sweep of the hair. Tap, 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 tap.
Oh, my
Here
God.
you go. And I was like, thank you. See ya.
So finally, after all of this, you get your referral to access your private midwives.
Yeah.
And what did your midwife say when you told her all of this?
She was like, I mean, in hindsight, I probably should have contacted her and been like, oh, they're saying this. What should I do? But
yeah,
I think I was just like, oh yeah, I'll see her at the appointment. This must be fine. Like, still had some faith in the medical system here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very apologetic. Like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, literally just to get your referral to get some money back.
Yeah.
And in my head, I just kept thinking, like, I'm so glad that I'm a second-time mum and I've done this before, and and I'd done some research. Like, I knew what I was kind of talking about, and I didn't let her scare me into going like, oh, like she was basically like, no, I'm writing you a referral for the local hospital, and that's where you'll be going. And I can just imagine how many women would be like, okay, sure.
Yeah, but even if she's getting people, if she's gotten you to do the GTT in the first trimester, when you've not ever been diagnosed with it before, like the only thing you did was had a larger than average, I guess, baby. Yeah. That's the only... Plenty of people... Oh, my gosh. What the heck? So what was the care like with your private midwife? Did you... so you did calm birth when you were pregnant with Ollie. Did you do any further education kind of stuff with the pregnancy of Jacob?
All we did the free core and floor restore antenatal
Oh, yeah.
courses. She's there,
Yeah.
and like the calm birth was, I really enjoyed calm birth. I think it was really good.
Yeah.
Hers were just like next level. They were so good.
Yeah.
They were free for a start. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't think we need anything. Like, I'm pretty sure I know where things went wrong last time. I had great confidence in the team that I was building around me this time.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it can't hurt to brush up. So I watched all of them. Rowan watched a couple. I was like, you just need to know how to squeeze my hips and
yeah.
my hand. Like,
yeah.
those specific ones he watched to refresh his mind. But, yeah, that was it this time around.
Yeah. And did you what do you usually do for like I guess paid work when you're not being a mum, I guess?
Yeah, I work for a project management company.
Yeah.
So I was just working 3 days a week when I went back.
Yeah.
And I did 2 of them from home, which was really good. So I just went into the office 1 day a week.
Yeah. And when did you finish up with that with Ollie?
Oh, I finished so early with him because he was born in February, and it was the first year of COVID pretty much. Everyone had heaps of annual leave balances. So my office decided to close for longer over Christmas.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted at least 4 weeks off before his due date. And I thought, what's the point going back after Christmas for like a week or two and then going on mat leave? So I finished up. I was like 32 weeks or something.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. But that actually does make sense though. And so for Ollie, when did you finish up work with Ollie? Jacobs.
I planned to finish up at 37 weeks.
Yeah.
I knew that I would need the rest this time, but also just to add like a million things onto one. We decided to sell our house that year as well.
Yeah.
So I was doing open homes while pregnant, and it was
excellent.
It was.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. Like I was so exhausted. I ended up finishing up at 36 weeks. I said to my boss, like, I'm done here. If you're fine, I'm not gonna come back. And he was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, amazing. And so
like we're moving house. I've got to set up. I'm planning a home birth.
Yeah.
The house.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So were you going to be like birthing in the house that you were currently selling or in a new house?
I had no idea the whole pregnancy. It basically got to I must have been about 30 weeks, and I said to the agent, like, you need to sell the house this week, because if you don't sell it this week, I'm not moving. Like, that's it. I'm done. Like, I'm not moving when I'm 40 weeks pregnant. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they sold it that week, and I was like, why did you not sell it earlier? Like,
amazing. And so how did you spend like the last, couple of weeks? How many weeks was Jacob when you gave birth to him?
He was 40 and 2.
Oh, yeah. So you had like 4-ish weeks off that paid work.
We moved when I was 30, almost 37 weeks.
Yeah.
He was breech.
Oh, wow.
So
like another fun thing that they could...
Literally, like, the theme of my pregnancy is like, how many hurdles do you need to jump? He was obviously. So I did the scans. I did the 12-week scan. I did the 20-week scan.
Yeah.
I think I missed the one thing I did miss about the private care was seeing the baby like often.
Yeah.
I loved seeing like, every appointment. I was like, oh, yeah, look at that squishy face. Like,
yeah.
So I loved going to the scans. My older sister actually has a sonographer friend who works locally.
Yeah.
So I went and saw her, which was amazing. I literally said to her, I don't care how big he is. I don't want to know. You do your measurements, do whatever you need to do, but I don't want any, any comments about his size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was great she respected that, and she was really good.
Yeah. As they literally all should, but anyway.
Right? No, anything under your breath.
Yeah.
So at the 20-week scan, he was breech, and then obviously I'm going for the however many appointments I had with the midwife, and she was obviously feeling his position with her hands, and he was breech up until 37 weeks.
Yeah.
my primary midwife went on holidays. She had a holiday booked, so she works locally with another midwife, and they tag teamed holidays after Christmas. One was away in January. She was away in February. So it might have been my 32-week checkup with her before she went on holidays that she said, look, if he stays breech, obviously gave me the options. She recommended doing a scan at 36 weeks to check his position. And she would be away during this time. Then she said, if he is still breech, you can choose to have an ECV if you want. I chose to do collaborative care with her with an obstetrician at Westmead Hospital, which is not my local, and purely chose that for in case if I need to transfer to hospital, I knew I wanted her to come with me.
Amazing.
Rights or is that whatever the rights are. Whereas if I'd had to transfer to the local hospital, she was like, basically, I can't do anything. So, I chose that collaborative care. I'd had one appointment with the obstetrician, and she was like, yep, cool, no worries for your home birth. Like, don't see any reason why you can't get a VBAC. It's all good. Hopefully I don't ever see you again. Like, she was great. And I was like, yep, hopefully I never see you again either. But, then I did the scan at 36 weeks. He was still breech. She was like, he's got heaps of fluid around him, so now's the time to turn him if you want. So I booked in for an ECV the Tuesday after we moved house that weekend when I was 37 weeks. I should say as well, I'd done a couple of sessions with B in the lead up to the birth.
Amazing.
I did like a birth prep chat with her. With Rowan. He did it with me. And it was really funny. Basically, I think I booked it for an hour and a half, and probably for about an hour and 15 minutes, it was her talking to Rowan, and basically she was dispelling his fears about home birth. He was very scared that I would die and he'd have to bring up the children on his own. And she did a great job of talking him off that. And I'd said to him the whole time, look, I don't care where I give birth. I'm very confident in my midwife. If you need me to give birth in a hospital, then I will. Because I need you to be on board. If you're not on board, like, we're not doing this. Like, I need you to be in my space, like, mentally.
If there's like an inkling of doubt, then
we're not doing it.
You can but you can feel that, like, if like the fear is just in the air otherwise. That's amazing of B.
So by the end of that chat, he was on board, and then it was like the last 15 minutes, she said to me, she was like, you're sitting on something. And I said, oh, yeah, by the way, baby's breech. And she was like, oh, okay. Have you done anything to try and turn him? And I was like, look, to be perfectly honest, not a thing. I don't have time. I've got a toddler. I'm working.
I'm moving house.
Like, I don't have time to do inversions. And I done that. I was like, I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy the experience. I'd done a couple of acupuncture sessions, but I was like, really? No, I'm not. Like, I haven't done anything serious. And then she said to me, she goes, there is a belief that babies who sit breech, they do that because they want to stay close to the mother's heart.
Oh, somebody else, that's so cute. Somebody else that's been on the podcast, she must have also had a consult with B, and she also had a breech baby at some point, and that's what she said as well. I think that's so beautiful.
And then she was like, she said, is there anything that you're holding on to? And I broke down, and I was like, the miscarriage. I haven't spoken about the miscarriage. And she was like, okay, I'm really sorry to say this, but we're running out of time. Time we'd spent so long. Anyway, so I booked in another session with her, and we spoke in great detail about the miscarriage. And so that was, I think, on the Thursday. We moved on the Saturday. I had the ECV booked on the Tuesday, and he turned himself.
Amazing.
Like, not a thing. Like, absolutely not a thing.
Wow. Wow.
So, I fully believe it was like that.
Holding on to it.
The tension in my body that was holding him in there or whatever, I don't know. But Literally, yeah, we went to the
Wow.
hospital and the doctor was like, oh, just before we put the cannula in, I'll just do a quick scan and make sure that baby hasn't turned. And I was like, ha, 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 I wouldn't know. Everyone was saying to me, you'll know when he turns, you'll feel it. And I was like, ha, 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 he's not turned, stubborn second baby.
Yeah.
And she put the scan on. She was like, nope, that's his head. His head is down.
Oh, my gosh. How did you feel? Like,
I just started crying and I was like, what the hell? Like,
yeah.
finally, I was like, okay, we've moved house. We can have this baby now.
Yeah.
Head down, like it's all going to be okay. Like everyone was saying, so if he stays breech, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to try for a VBAC. He can be breech.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not having a planned cesarean. And he was like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah.
If that's what you want, dear. And I was like, yeah, like, I basically said to him, I was like, I've got real confidence in my team this time.
Yeah.
If my midwife says to me, Jess, look, I think we need to go to cesarean, I said, I will know that cesarean is needed. And I'm not against having another cesarean, but I'm against having another unnecessary cesarean.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Anyway, we didn't have to. So even the midwives were like, yep, if you want to go for a breech birth, it's fine, but we have to do that in hospital. I'm like, cool, as long as you're going to come with me, no, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually have actual continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
And happy days. Mum helped me unpack the house in an absolute flurry. So I actually had a house to birth in.
Yeah.
At 40 weeks, I got COVID.
Oh, no. What? That is so unlucky.
Yeah, I hadn't had it in 3 years.
Oh, no.
So his due date was the Wednesday. On the Monday, I woke up feeling really crappy, and I was like, "Yes, this is it. I'm going to have the baby today."
Yeah.
I was like, "Rowan, like it's on. I feel like
prepare yourself.
I just want to sleep. The baby's coming."
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't come.
Yeah.
And then on the Wednesday, I was 40 weeks and I had an appointment with my midwife on the Thursday, and I thought, I still feel pretty crap and I actually couldn't taste my dinner. I should do a RAT just to make sure. And it was like heavy pregnant. Like if it was a pregnancy test, I would have been over the moon, the way that the double lines came up straight away. But
instant.
No way. Like no way do I have COVID. So again, I just walked in. Ron was watching TV with Ollie, and I gave him the test, and I just cried.
Yeah,
it's gonna be okay.
Oh my gosh!
And I was like, I've got COVID. And she messaged me straight back, and she was like, "Look, don't worry. If you're going to labour, we come to you. Nothing changes." She's like, "Don't worry about it." And I said, "Should we postpone my appointment tomorrow?"
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, maybe we'll just have a phone call just in case.
Yeah.
So, I basically chatted to her on the Thursday, and I remember she said to me, your body won't go into labour while it's sick. It knows. And I was like, well, I hope so. I went from this mentality of get this baby out of me. I'm so done with being pregnant. I'm tired. We've moved house. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get you out to don't you dare go into labour.
Yeah, I am feeling so exhausted. Do not do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All she said to me, she was like, don't worry, we'll still come to you. We'll just wear masks and that's it.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine. You just do your thing. And she just said, the only thing you need to be wary about is if we're looking like we're going to transfer to hospital. Rowan had tested positive by this stage as well. She was like, I'm going to be on the hospital policy whether or not he could come or not. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. We'll just have the baby at home. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be fine. So she'd also had, my primary midwife had hand surgery the month in February, and Jacob was born in March.
Yeah.
So she lost full function of her primary hand.
Oh my God.
Hand. Yeah, I know, I'll never forget this conversation. She called me and she was like, look, I've had this surgery. The recovery is longer than I was anticipating. But don't worry, all that's going to happen is you're going to have 3 midwives now. And I was like, okay. She's like, I can't be your primary on paper. I'll just be your really experienced doula.
Yeah.
because you obviously need two fully functioning midwives for a home birth.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, cool, no worries. The more the merrier. Like, as long as you're there, I don't care, because she's the one that I built the relationship with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd met the second midwife, and then she was like, it will just be, they'll just call someone on the day, depending, to be the third.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So that was the Thursday, and then Friday morning, woke up 7:30, contractions, and I was like, nah, no way. Of course I go into labour now.
Had you had any like Braxton Hicks or anything like that?
Not a thing.
No.
Absolutely
just
not a
woke
thing.
up.
Just woke up. Yeah. And so I was like, all right. I was in bed with Ollie, and Rowan was already downstairs, and I messaged him and I was like, you need to come and get Ollie. I'm not ready to like get up yet. So he came and took Ollie.
Yeah.
And like 20 minutes later I went downstairs and I said to him, I'm in labour. And he was like, no way. Yeah. And he was like, okay, I'll go get you some breakfast. And I was like, yeah, cool, no worries. And so this is probably, I don't know, 7:30, 7:45.
Yeah.
He came back and he was like, look, I just want to do my 9 o'clock meeting. He was working from home because obviously he had COVID. And I was like, yeah, no worries. Like, took ages last time. Like, we had hours up our sleeves. I was like, yeah, no worries, 9 o'clock meeting, I've got this. I just sat on the gym ball. I had some breakfast and I said to him, I just want to brush my teeth. Like, I had this real thing. I just want to brush my teeth. So I went upstairs to brush my teeth and I was like, nah, I'm done here. I'm in the shower.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, he comes upstairs with all these like, are you okay? And I was like, no, the contractions are 2 minutes apart. You need to call. Mum was coming over to look after Ollie. Yeah. For the day. And I said, Mum goes to aqua aerobics at 9:30 on a Friday. Like, you need to call her and get her to come here before she goes to aqua.
Yeah, before she's in the pool. Yeah.
Like, otherwise, like, she won't be coming until for hours. So, yeah, he went and called everyone. So he calls Mum and she's like, yep, no worries, she's on her way. I think he must have called the midwives then. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was then or a bit later, but I remember screaming at him like, you need to call Tina. Like, you need to get her here.
Yeah.
Like, now.
Yeah.
And so he came in, he was like, yep, everyone's on their way. It's okay, no worries. So I just stayed in the shower.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everyone arrived like around 11:30ish. And I was like I was actually coping okay. I had the shower and I had a birth comb.
Oh yeah.
I did hire a TENS machine. I didn't really use it the first time, but I was like, I'd rather have it there and not use it than the alternative. But I just loved the water so much that I never put it on. Like, I was like, I just actually can't get out of the shower. Yeah. So for some reason, I don't know why I decided to get out of the shower, but I think I just wanted to get into the pool. Yeah. But so we moved into a rental at this
I'm between
house, moved into a rental while we decided what we wanted to do next. The only like fitting that we could find for the hose to fill the pool, we could only find one that would fit to the shower head, not to the basin in the ensuite.
No.
I'd get out of the shower to fill the pool. I was like, okay, that's fine.
That sucks.
One of the midwives said, just maybe sit on the toilet for a bit. Yeah. So I sat on the toilet, and my waters exploded. Like, everywhere, all over Rowan. He had to get changed. Like, they just went, thank goodness I was in the ensuite, because I was so concerned. I just kept saying, like, oh my gosh, we're in a rental. Like, don't want to ruin the carpet and have to pay for the cleaning. Yeah,
you've got a bad track record for that.
I've been here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So thankfully we were in the ensuite, and they went boom, and I looked at them and they were brown, and I was like,
what else could happen?
I was like, I know what this means. Yeah. So my beautiful midwife came over. She was like, look, Jess, it looks like there's meconium in the waters. It looked old. It didn't look fresh. Okay. And so she said, the recommendation is that we go to hospital. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to stay at home. I was like, so much in my mind, like, I cannot go to hospital because I don't know if Rowan can come with me. Yeah. So I was like, nah, we're staying at home. And so she's like, yep, okay, no worries. Eventually the pool gets filled up. I get in the pool. It was like bliss. Ollie was like walking in and out of the room with my mum, and so like I got some beautiful photos that my midwife took of him, like just holding crackers in one hand and holding my hand in the other, like just
Oh, so cute.
it's so cute.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically just stayed in there probably for a good couple of hours.
Yeah.
My hand was so sore and bruised from that birth comb.
Oh, excellent.
And then I think it must have like a few contractions. Sorry, I should say before I got into the birth pool, they asked me if I wanted to a VE.
Yeah.
Because the waters had broken and there was meconium, they just wanted to see. They were like, it's probably a good idea if we just see where you're at. And I was like, yeah, no worries. So got up on the bed, and I'll never forget the midwife. So this is then the second midwife who came to primary. She said to me, yep, you're going really well. I don't know how many centimetres dilated. She was like, there's just a little bit of a lip. So a lip, which obviously I had like a bit of a, oh my gosh.
Trauma response.
She was like, just pop in the bath and it will just dissolve away.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, beautiful. Hopped in the bath or the pool, whatever. Didn't even think another thing about it.
Yeah.
But his heart rate, I think, had started to dip on a couple of contractions.
Okay.
While I was in there. So they said, oh, look, like, I think they were obviously not paranoid, but they were like, the meconium and everything that had happened, they were like, oh, we just recommend that you hop out of the bath so we could just do another check, see where things are at.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's okay. I've got COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I'm exhausted. I was so blocked up that I was feeling okay. I was just very tired and I could not breathe out of my nose.
Yeah.
And I just remember Rowan saying to me, like, every contraction, just do your horse's breath. Do the horse's breath. And I was like, I can't breathe out of my nose.
Yeah, that's, oh my God. I just can't believe that's so unlucky, because I was thinking this the other day as well. When I was quite sick, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I wasn't sick in labour. And then I thought, no, surely your body would know.
It just knows.
If you're feeling that unwell, don't go into labour, surely. Oh my gosh.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So my mouth was so dry. I drank so much water and I also couldn't wee.
Yeah.
At all. Anyway, so finally I hopped out so they could do another check, and they were like, yep, the lip is completely gone, like you're fully dilated. Normally we would wait for your body to just start pushing when you feel ready, but they were like, considering everything, might be a good idea if you just start pushing or start trying to push. Just push with the contractions, do what they were like, just whatever feels right. But yeah, basically said you should start pushing. So we went, I think I sat back on the toilet for a bit and I was pushing. Was I pushing on there first? Anyway, I basically pushed on the toilet till my bum just ached.
Yeah.
From sitting on that seat.
Yeah.
I tried pushing squatting and I was just like, nah, didn't feel good. So I went on all fours, pushed there for a while until like my arms were just so sore from holding up my body.
Yeah.
Went on my side for a bit until my hip got sore.
Yeah.
Ended up on all fours again. And that's how he was born, while I was on all fours.
Yeah, wow.
But crazy, like when I was first pushing on the toilet, one of the midwives said to me, do you want to feel his head? And I was like, oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And so I felt it and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, so after pushing for 2 hours with Ollie and just having I just remember them doing that like classic coach pushing of like, push, just one more big push. And the whole time I thought, just one more big push and that's it, he's going to be here. And then having like obviously just no progress.
Yeah.
To then be able to just like pull my finger and be like, oh my God, that's his head right there. Like it's right there.
It's like so incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I said to Rowan, I was like, do you want to feel it? And he was like, no. And I was like, just do it, just feel it.
Yeah.
He was like you should like how cool. It's so, I don't know, I thought it was just so cool.
It is very cool. I did that as well with Frankie, and I just it was I described it as like the motivation that I needed, because it's a measure of progress. If the head is in your vagina, you are almost done.
Yeah, even to like feel then like obviously like the stretching and the ring of fire and all that was like obviously incredibly painful.
Yeah.
so satisfying to just
Yeah.
feel something happening. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm actually pushing this baby out of my body.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
That's incredible.
yeah, he was born.
Yeah.
He was not breathing.
Okay.
So immediately,
Just a bit more complications. So fun.
Fun, yeah. So, like, yeah, another thing in hindsight, like, it's incredibly lucky that we actually had 3 midwives there.
Okay. Yeah.
They immediately started the oxygen on him, and I was basically watching, like, I'm on all fours with the cord still attached and just watching them resuscitate.
Yeah.
Jacob through my legs. One of the midwives was with me, and then the other one was on the phone to the ambos.
Okay. Yeah.
It would have been within seconds of him coming out. It was like straight into action.
Yeah.
And yeah, so ambos came to our beautiful rental property that we'd been in for 2 weeks, and I was like, "Hey, neighbours!" Right, nothing.
Yeah.
2 ambos, 2 cops in a helicopter came to our house.
Yeah.
And I had the Synto injection. They basically were like, "Look, we obviously they would do whatever I want to do, but would recommend we get the placenta out. We're going to try and get you ready so that we can transfer you to hospital together." Like, they were just trying to get me and Jacob together. And I'm like, "Yep, like, whatever. Like, literally, you can do whatever to me right now. I don't care."
Yeah.
So placenta came out. The ambos arrived. By this stage, I still hadn't really seen him at all. Like, they're resuscitating him. The midwives are just like, it's crazy to think that something that should have been, like, and was highly stressful, was so calm. And the whole time just saying to me, "He's okay, Jess. Like, he's still attached. He was taking every third breath himself." Like, they were talking to me the whole time. So I was never really stressed, I don't think, about, like, "Oh my gosh, my baby's not breathing."
Yeah.
It was almost just like, "Oh yeah, the ambos are going to come and he's going to be fine. Like, it's going to be fine."
Yeah.
So yeah, they arrived, and as the ambos sort of came in to take him, one of the midwives said, "Put him on mum's chest. He needs to go on mum's chest." So I've got this live photo that you can literally
excellent
for like 2 seconds. They put him on my chest. He opened his arms and looked at me. And then he was taken away. He started crying just like as they left the room. So he had his first cry. And then they obviously took him downstairs while they were working on him. I had some tears and things that the midwives asked if they could have a look before we went to hospital. I think they were they're obviously trying to avoid as many people getting up in your business as possible, but they're like, "If we can manage it here, we will before you go to the hospital." But they weren't sure if it was a 2nd or 3rd degree tear, so they just left it. Then basically, so Jacob was taken straight away. He was taken straight to NICU. And I was trying to hobble down the stairs. Again, it was like the ambulance come in. "Do you think you'll be able to walk down the stairs, or do you need us to get the little chair lifty thing?" And "I'll be okay to walk." I said, "But I'm just really worried about the carpet."
This
So
damn carpet.
to, like, shove in me. I hadn't packed a hospital bag, so Rowan and my mum are like running around trying to pack me a hospital bag. It was just like mayhem. I'm like, find the pads, like trying to tell everyone where everything is while I'm comatose on the bathroom floor.
With COVID.
With COVID. So Jacob was taken straight to NICU. And I was taken to birth suites where an obstetrician came in and stitched me up, and then I was taken to an isolation room. And I then didn't meet him for 3 days.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought, what the heck? Jess, what the heck?
So I got the VBAC. I got my home birth. It's just
my gosh.
It's so crazy that, like, the thing that you do to try and avoid that 2-hour separation and in recovery
and now you've got 3 days.
Now, like, I've had 3 days of fighting to just go and see him because I had COVID.
My gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh, I don't even know what words to speak because I'm just like, holy moly. Were you allowed to see Rowan?
So he was allowed to come to the hospital when we transferred.
Okay.
Once he left, he couldn't come back because he had COVID. And we did stupidly told him. We were honest and we told them. They knew. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, the 3 midwives came into the hospital with me. Mum stayed with Ollie at home.
Yeah.
And, yeah, basically, yeah, Rowan,
Wow.
that was the Friday night. He couldn't come back to the hospital until the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I was like classic bloody hospital politics being in there straight away. Like I was so lucky to have my midwives there.
Yeah.
Also, I think to be a second-time mum, or that would have just been more of a hellish experience than it was. But I was stuck in this room with, most people probably know, like the difference of midwives that you get on a bloody maternity ward.
Yeah.
Some of them, I actually think I got the best crop because I had some of them, like basically had some people throwing my medication from the door because they obviously had to gown up and everything to come into my room. The ones that were just like whatever, to then I had a beautiful midwife on the Saturday morning come in, sit down, and she was like, I heard that you had a VBAC yesterday. And I was like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, I did. Like, thank you for acknowledging that. She was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, how do you feel? Like, she's actually sat down and talked to me like I was a person. And she was like, oh, my experience is so similar to yours. I had a caesarean my first, and she was pregnant. She was like, I'm planning a home birth with my second. And like, yeah, to like the extremes of just the other ones that just obviously didn't care. And there's a bit of a stigma.
They've been pretty good so far.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the postman to come and they go nuts.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, the stigma around home birth and what some people think when you're then transferred to a hospital, very much saw that. I think more from the NICU people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, so thankfully on the Friday when we went in, my midwife went to NICU first, and she came in and saw me and she was like, here, I've taken some photos. Here's some photos. She took a video of him. He was on the CPAP machine.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, like I would not have gotten that from the hospital staff. No way. She came and saw me on the Saturday, and again, she went to NICU before she came to see me. So she had photos. She had an update. Like they were literally telling me nothing at all. And they, like the head of NICU was saying to her, like, yeah, it's fine. We can FaceTime with her and send photos. They've got your mobile number. Like they'll send you photos. I got nothing at all. And it was just crazy. And then have them saying like, oh, we need more milk. So I'm just basically in an isolation room pumping or hand expressing to begin with, just trying to
bring the milk in.
Yeah, trying to bring the milk in. When we got there, my midwife said, oh, I declined formula for you. She said, I just assumed. And I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I need to ask you before they give him anything. I declined formula 4 times for him over that weekend because they just kept saying to me, we need more milk, we need more milk, we need more milk. And I was like,
just fucking give me a second.
Get my baby. Like, how do you think milk is made? Like, I literally, like on the Sunday they were slightly better. So he had a different nurse and they were sending me photos, and I spoke to him. I said, literally, like, you could be sending me photos of any baby right now. I haven't met my baby. Like, you need to get us back together. By this stage, he was fine. He'd be taken off the CPAP. He was breathing fine. He was starting to get a little jaundice. But otherwise, he was fine. They had him on prophylactic antibiotics. All of his swabs had come back fine. He had 2 COVID swabs, which were both negative. Like they swabbed him for RSV and probably the flu, whatever. Yeah. They came in and asked me if I had the GBS test, which I said no. So they tested him for that, which was negative. And yeah, they were basically like, oh, we need to keep him here until the antibiotics are finished. And so I'm saying to them, okay, can my parents go and see him? And they said, no, only his parents are the only ones that can come into NICU.
This makes me so angry, so angry.
Yeah, right. And I was like, well, we both got COVID. Like, surely you can make an exception. Like,
this is a human life.
With my baby. Like,
yeah.
Like, is he crying and is someone picking him up when he's crying, or like I don't know. Like, everything was just so unknown that, like, it was honestly, it was so maddening, as you can imagine. The Monday morning, I spoke to Rowan. I said to him, if they don't let me down there, also they said to me, Sunday was my day 7 of COVID.
Yeah.
I was feeling fine. Like, I literally woke up Saturday morning and I was like, I don't feel like I've got COVID anymore. I feel okay.
Yep.
Sunday morning I felt fine. They said to me, if you do a rat test at midnight, you can go and see him because it's day 7.
Yeah.
And that's the hospital policy. So at midnight, one of the midwives came in and we did the rat. It was negative and I was like, great, I've just like pumped this milk. I'll come down to NICU and we can take it together and you can show me, like, I was like, great. And then she's like, yep, no worries. I'll just go and, I don't know, she had to get something. She came back. She was like, I'm so sorry, they won't let you in. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, the person from infectious control, I think it was, who said that day 7 was fine. It's not recorded anywhere. NICU rules are day 10. You can't see him until day 10. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like,
oh my God. I would have been.
Couldn't be. I said to Rowan that morning, I said, if they don't let me see him today, I was like, right, they've de-isolated my room literally at midnight. Like, thankfully it was one of my favourite midwives that was on. She was like, ripped the gown off and she was like, woohoo, we don't have to put this crap on to come in here anymore. I was like, if they don't let me see him today, I'm going to go down there and I'll stand up there till they let me in. If they don't let me in, we're coming home. Like, that's it, I'm done. Like, it was just crazy. And he's like, yep, if that's what you want to do, then fine, I support you. I'd spoken to my midwife and she was like, if it's just the jaundice that's keeping him there, like, they can send home the blue blanket thing. We can manage it from home. Like, we can do the blood tests from home. Like, we'll support you if you want to come home. And I was like, I just want to see my baby. That's it. So the Monday morning I spoke to
So at this point, it's been how many days until you actually got to hold him?
The Monday afternoon. So it was 3 days.
I just can't even. That is so. Like, I've had tears in my eyes multiple times, Jess. I cannot imagine that. Like, you've had this home birth, you gave your body, did the thing that it's meant to do, and then to then get this other separate, like, that's traumatic.
Yeah, it felt like a real big kick in the teeth.
Oh my gosh, that's like, and I imagine that's like a bit hard to process as well, because, like, on one hand you're like, yeah, I had like a vaginal birth after caesarean, I'm amazing, but then it's like, oh, but my baby needed to go to NICU and then I was separated and then I wasn't allowed to hold him or see him or touch him, or like,
yeah, it makes it a bit like, was it worth it?
Like,
but I mean, I was lucky that I had to do what I did. That's
the continuity with your midwife. That's holy moly.
Yeah, that made it.
And so, what was once you get to take Jacob home, what's your postpartum like then? Did you have a second or a third degree tear? Did they figure that out?
I had a second degree tear. Internal. I had like all the things. It was like, crazy. I had a hematoma.
Oh my gosh.
Which was fine. And I had a couple of grazes, which were fine. They ended up bringing him to my room on the Monday afternoon because Rowan spent that whole morning basically on the phone just calling NICU over and over, and they kept saying to him like, oh, you've got to wait until the doctors have finished their rounds, got to wait until whatever. he basically said to them, like, she's going home, we're discharging, you need to get them together. He, bless him, said like something to them about how I'd had the postpartum anxiety last time. They then called me, the nurse called me and saying like, oh, we've just used the last of your milk. We need more milk. Have you seen the NICU lactation consultant? Have they been to see you? And I said to them, no one's come to see me. Oh, okay, she'll come and see you. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Half an hour later, this lactation consultant came into my room and she said, oh, yeah, I'm from the NICU. I hear you're having trouble making milk. And I said to her, I fed my first baby for 18 months. I haven't met my baby. And she just looked at me and she went, okay, don't. She had the papers again for me to sign for the formula. She said, don't sign a thing. I'll get you together.
What?
I was like, I know, I can tell you what the problem is. I know exactly what the problem is. Like, I know how milk is made. I had no issues feeding my first. I've never responded well to a pump. Like, I just need my baby here. And I'll tell you what probably will happen is that the milk will come. Like, and she was like, yeah, no worries. So a couple of hours later, they brought him into my room. They made a special exception. The NICU nurses came up twice a day to administer his antibiotics. And we were discharged on the Wednesday and went home. I had the hospital social worker come and see me, I think because Rowan dropped the mental health bomb.
Why is that? What? That doesn't... Why... That doesn't make sense.
And she spoke to me. And she was like, yeah, she basically was like, oh, like whatever, your husband he spoke to the NICU and said you had issues last time. I said, yeah, I did. Like I said, I'm fine. Like I'm going fine. I just need my baby here. Like I've got plenty of support. The midwives were coming in every day to see me. So they would sit and talk to me and check me and everything. And she was like, oh, it feels like you're coping pretty well with this. And I was like, yeah, because I've done this before and, like, I've got support in place. And I remember Rowan saying, like, oh, I'm so sorry that I dropped that mental health card. I was just trying to get you together. And I was like, no, the social worker should have been there with me on Saturday. Like, you shouldn't have to drop a mental health card to support a woman it should go to all the women who have given birth, but especially someone that's been separated in that way and then is isolated. They sent her on Saturday.
And if they, it's just, I have so many frustrations about,
the whole hospital system was just, crazy. Anyway, the postpartum it's been okay. I've obviously a lot more on top of it this time, and I think I put a very good team around me this time. Like I was seeing a chiro right through my pregnancy who'd had 3 home births. I was seeing a women's health physio who'd had a home birth. Like I had the midwives, obviously. I see a naturopath who helped with the anxiety last time. The day we got home, I had an appointment with the naturopath and I was like, look, I've had COVID. This has happened. Like, what do I need? And she was like, right. Like, I was just a lot more on top of it. And more aware this time, I think. Like a week after I went and saw my chiro, who's good friends with the midwives that I used. And so she knew what had happened and basically just sat there and created the space for me to like talk about it.
Wow. So like that's like I said before, like that is incredible that you achieved the vaginal birth. Like that's you did that. That's incredible. And I don't really know if I have like the right words, but I'm just so sorry that then that happened, because that's like part of me thinks is, you know, they send this social worker in or like the lactation consultant or whatever. If they like, I don't know if this is how you actually feel, but from my perspective hearing this story, if they actually cared, where the hell were they on day one?
Yeah.
Because so frustrating. I am so sad. And like your story, I'm sure, is just one of many of, you know, the whole period of COVID. just one of many, and like that is just so sad to separate someone from their newborn, like just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. Yeah, I just no words.
No words.
And I mean, we've talked about a lot for this episode, but like that's just like the cherry on top.
Yeah. And it's just so funny, like you walk out of the hospital and there's all the signs that are up that say like whatever, the 7 tips for successful breastfeeding. And it's like number 1, skin to skin. Number 2, like rooming in with your baby, frequent feeds, blah, 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 like all the stuff. And it's like, you know all this stuff, but everyone knows the benefits of skin to skin and kangaroo care and all of this stuff. But why is it still so hard to just, like, how come on, like, the Saturday they could have put him in the incubator in my room?
Like there's so, I mean, there's, when you think about it, like there's so many different things they could have done. And my experience being a healthcare professional working in, I might not work in the maternity system, but I do work in the healthcare system. And there's just so much bureaucratic red tape bullshit that just like policies and guidelines and like just so much non-woman-centered, non-person-centered stuff. Like it's, I'm just, wow. I guess like reflecting back on your entire journey though, if you were to have another baby, would you choose to give birth at home, or has this kind of, like what are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
100%. It's, the care is just like chalk and cheese. It's crazy. Like from the first pregnancy where it was like you'd go in, you'd see the midwife for 15 minutes if you were lucky, have like maybe a 15-minute appointment that was always running half an hour late. Like just ticking boxes is basically what it feels like, to then go to a model of care where every appointment was like on average an hour, to have someone that just knew me and knew like every appointment we were talking about what happened last time, what I wanted, like just
actually woman-centered care.
It's completely actually woman-centered. And even like the postpartum, to have someone come to your house and check you in the comfort of your own home and be there for that 6-week period. They still they run monthly.
Oh, cool.
Parents group. So I still see the midwife every month if you go along. It's a completely different relationship. Like you can't, 100%. If we have a third, it will be with the same midwife.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your entire journey to, finding and achieving a home birth, a vaginal birth at that, and all of the other challenges, I think. I guess one of the main things of this whole story is like the power of actual continuity of care, and midwifery continuity of care as well, and not just something that a hospital has latched on as might be a good marketing technique or something ridiculous. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.